What's up, magical people? Welcome back to your most magical life. I'm Mia Magik. Today we're talking about the spring equinox and Aries new moon that are right about on the same day. So it's going to be a super powerful portal. Of course, I am leading a ritual on Tuesday, March 21st at 9 a.m. PST. So if you'd like to join me, please click the link in the description. This energy is big right now, y'all. Not only is the spring equinox really the ancient holy holiday of the rebirth and the reemergence and the blossoming and the blooming of all life, right? Green starts to return, flowers, babies are born. It's just a booming time for vibrant aliveness. Now, this year, luckily, and they would always kind of like fall around one another, but we also have the astrological new year, which is the Aries new moon. Literally, they're almost on the same dates, like a few hours apart, technically, with the way that the equal hours of daylight, right? That's what the equinoxes are. Our most holy ancient days were the two solstices, the longest day and the longest night of the year, and then the days in between when the days and nights are equal. So because the Aries new moon is during this time, we really have the beautiful opportunity to see how much this used to be our new year. Like when you look at the seasons and the progression of the energetic expressions of them, it makes sense for the new year to start when the green pops back up, right? We go from this like dead, dormant, not dead, but sleeping, hibernating time into this time of life and vibrance. And so it makes sense for that to be the beginning of the year. And then we move into summer and then the harvest of fall, and then things go back into that slow sort of death portal for the end of the year. And this would be the new year. So it's really, really a beautiful opportunity for us to not only look at where have our shadows been really present during this winter season and what kind of light are we calling into our lives? What do we want to experience more of? Where do we want to shine brighter? And take an inventory of when we did set our New Year's resolutions, right? Because we're operating on a Gregorian calendar that has absolutely nothing to do with the cosmos. It was like intentionally created to like keep us away from our ancient traditions. But since we do have this collective agreement that January 1st is the new year, you can really look back at that time and what's changed in your life over these 2.5, almost 3 months, and really give yourself an honest look at where things are working and where they're not. Now, again, because Aries is that very much like new year energy, it's the astrological new year, it's the start over of the astrological zodiac progression. Aries is, as many of you know, Aries is very much the like visionary hero, takes that first step, has that confidence. But because it's during this sign of the springtime and when babies are being born and when like the astrological cycle is being born as well, it's really the sign of the child. And some people say like Gemini's curiosity is very childlike, which I, as a very youthful, energetic person, really resonate with that definitely for myself. I know a lot of Leos that like the way that Leo shadow can come up is very much like ultimate petulant child vibes. However, Aries really is that like unshakable, unwavering faith that a child has in themselves, in the world around them, in the universe to catch them, right? It's like, I got this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go make happen whatever I want. Anything I can dream is possible. And so we're really being asked to tie in that energy of Aries, that unwavering faith, that willingness to set forth, to create something new, to bring your visions to life at the same time as our entire natural world is going into her rebirth, into her new expression, her reemergence. She's like coming out again. She's like, oh, I've been hibernating a bit. I've been just taking some time to be internal. And now I am ready to be reborn. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be celebrated. Create new tinctures with me. Make all your potions. I want you to make love on the grass, right? This is a very fecund, fertile energy that we're stepping into. And so this Aries new moon is going to be a really potent time for planting seeds, setting intentions, and like way more than the new year really, but looking at what those things were that you did set the intention for, like what did you say you were going to do around the new year? What was your goal? What was your dream? And how close are you to that, right? We're already almost a quarter of the way through the year. So what does it look like for you to just acknowledge the darkness, right? Because that's that equinox. We have to acknowledge the darkness. Where have I fallen? Where have I not lived up to my own expectations, standards, or desires? And where am I ready to do more? Where have I been successful? Where am I able to celebrate myself and acknowledge myself that like I have done that? You know, big thing for me has been working out. I really like, it just feels better for me to take care of my body without avoiding more physical challenging exercise. Like I love my hikes. I love climbing up mountains. I love being outside. I love doing my yoga practice. But like standing in a fluorescently lit gym, just like pushing weights is so, it's just like the opposite of archaic in the good way to me. It's like, this is ridiculous. The reason why all these guys are like pumping themselves up and like their faces is because they wish they were doing fucking physical labor outside. They wish they were hunting and tracking and like sword fighting with each other or whatever. And so I have kind of a hard time with that. But I can look at, okay, the shadow, like judgment side of myself for how non-primal all of these men are, and they want so badly. That's why they like want to have these big physiques and big muscles, is because they want to be like the protectors of the tribe and, you know, the kind of men that women can depend on or whatever gender partner they're looking for. And because we just don't have the systems in place for people to really be utilized in the way that they were for hundreds of thousands of years of our species, you see a lot of those people that are just like releasing pent-up aggression in there, and it's actually like a deeper self-dissatisfaction. So that's all another video. Let's get into the toxic masculinity at another time, because it was really beautiful for me to look at, right? Even that's why I wanted to share that part with you guys, is like, even that, all of the shadow that I can see it in my own masculine side, right? Because like, there are some days where I don't want to go to the gym. There are some days where like my dark masculine does show up and I'm not as structured, or I punish myself when I'm doing something a little more flowy, or I don't get X, Y, and Z done on time in the exact schedule that I think I'm going to, right? And then we can also have dark feminine, which can be, you know, a lack of regulation in our emotions, or like overly dramatic about things. So we all have dark and light of both sides. We all have masculine and feminine. But I really get to look at, wow, okay, despite my judgments of it, despite my stories about it, despite my whatever it is about the gym, and like literally when people are running on a treadmill, I'm like, are you fucking serious? Just go outside. Like, go for a run outside. There's like plenty of trails and streets and all kinds of places. So I get to look at that judgment that I have, right? And know deep down that the reason that I feel that way is because I yearn to experience a life with my human brothers and sisters where we can all actually understand our deep inherent connection to and reflection of Mother Earth and nature. So like, I know that my judgment, the pain that I feel and experience, is just a wound, because I know how existentially agonizing it is, because I used to be like that. Before I really devoted my life to the goddess and to serving Mother Earth and being a vessel for her voice, I was one of those people. And most of us are. Most people on the planet are like that. We don't understand how connected we are to the earth. So I get to witness that wound, how that shadow shows up, the judgment that it creates, and how that can be part of like my excuse of like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. Like, oh, I don't need to work out like that. I took my hike today and I did my yoga, blah, blah, blah. You know, but instead I've been fucking getting it. I've been going for it. Even my partner was out of town and I went to the gym like Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday before I went to LA this weekend on my own, lifted heavier than I ever have, like just fucking went for it. And so that is something to celebrate for me. It's like, great, as we're approaching this actual new year, when the new year was rising and was coming, I knew that this is something that I wanted to feel a new level of devotion to. I wanted my body to know that I care about it and that I want to give it this time, this energy, this, devotion, really. And so I get to celebrate that. And then I get to look at other things like whatever it is. For me, I have been working more. Many of you know my book comes out in January of next year. And so we're like in the crunch time. This is the last little bits of time when I'll get the edits back and then pass them back to Hay House and do the whole thing. And I also run a business, right? We're doing rituals. I've got a beautiful course running. All of my programs are always going and I always have calls and I have clients. Like I have a whole business to run and then a book to write. So I've been working like 16, 17 hours a day. It's a lot for me. So I can look at both of those pieces, like dark and light, as, okay, you know, it's winter time. I've been working, like that's not exactly the winter experience, but I'm celebrating the fuck out of myself that I have been so willing to be devoted to like spend as much time on these things that I know deserve my care and attention, so that when they come to their spring moment, their time to blossom, that they're going to be as healthy and as vibrant and as amazing as they can possibly be. That is fucking incredible, right? So the beautiful opportunity as we set forth into Aries season and the truth of the new year is to really look at, okay, where have I fallen? Right? Maybe I'm overly judgmental. Maybe I've had a little bit too much drama. Maybe I haven't been eating well, whatever it is. But where have I been thriving? Where have I been succeeding? Where have I been taking good care of myself? And Aries rules our entire identity. It's like all of who we are. And there's of course like different facets of our identity, like our mysticism and our mission and, you know, our adventurousness, our curiosity, our education, all of those things that are represented by the rest of the signs. But to me, Aries shows up very much as like in that childlike way that when you meet a kid, you kind of just like get who they are, right? There's no bullshit. They're not trying to like pretend to be someone else, like young kids, right? Before they hit that story where we have to, you know, try to be someone other than who we are. But you just kind of get the real deal from them. Some kids are shy. Some kids are outgoing. Some kids are old souls. Some kids are just like taken with wonder at everything and just like giggle about all kinds of stuff. Every child is unique, but that is that Aries energy of like, what is that unique part of me? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to show up as? And how can I bring that forward and forth into the world right now, into my own life, into the way that I show up, into what I'm creating, what I'm building, what I'm birthing right now during this spring season. So the goddess of springtime, Ostara, it's a Celtic word that would have originally been spelled with like that E-O, but she is the goddess of rebirth. She is the spring embodied, literally. And so we have this beautiful opportunity to really check in with, that's some like more mental, right? The understanding the archetypal energies of these two events, the equinox and the Aries new moon. Of course, just another little tidbit is that this is why we celebrate the resurrection. The resurrection is the spring. It's spring that's being resurrected. It wasn't about any person, right? As some of us know, you may have watched some of my other content or been in my programs, but really all of the stories in the Bible, they are metaphors, they are allegory, they are really a description for what's happening in the natural world, because that was the religion of our entire human history for hundreds of thousands of years. Nature was what we worshiped, how we understood our relationship to ourselves and the world around us. And so when you look at even the stories of Jesus, right, the birth of the sun in the winter, when the days start to come back to a longer period, right, they get shorter until the solstice, and then they start to get longer. And then when life is reborn, this is the resurrection time. So that's why we even call Easter what it is because of Ostara, because of our old traditions. And we're celebrating something different, but the celebration of Ostara and the birth of spring and the resurrection of life all around us with the green energy, and why we call the holiday right before, in between the solstice and equinox, Imbolc, which means in the belly, is because this is the energy of rebirth for our entire species and planet, at least on the northern hemisphere. But the even deeper invitation for your own rituals or your own celebration is really to understand, what do you want to blossom from within you? When you look at the energies of these seasons, okay, we've had this dark winter time. And I know that I have had a lot more stress than usual because I've been working so much and I don't usually like to work. Some of those people are like, I just love working. I'm like, I love playing, okay? I like to play. I built my entire business on being playful and on being myself and doing whatever the fuck I wanted. And then miraculously it became a really successful business, which is so epic and amazing. And I thank the goddess every single day for my life. And that's led to a lot of stress because there's a lot of hours in the day where I can't just go off and frolic and do whatever I want. And so I get to really look at what are the seeds that I need to plant right now? What is that sort of childlike reawakening, re-emerging, right? The inner child remembrance or expression or joy that I want to remember in my life here and now. And how can I integrate that? How can I bring sort of my own visionary energy, my commitment and devotion to myself, to my business, to the world around me? How can I bring that even more deeply into my actions? Because Aries is a fire sign for a reason. We start with the fire because fire is the element of transformation. It's the element of motivation, of drive, ambition, of action, like how we move forward. And there's really, all of the elements are important, right? We can't last more than a few seconds without our breath. I think technically the Navy SEAL that I did some, situational awareness training with says it takes 6 minutes to actually asphyxiate someone. But still, I've never killed anybody. And so I wouldn't know that, but he's killed a lot of people and that's what he said. So speaking of rebirth, anyways, absolutely amazing human who has since done lots of psychedelic therapy and is like really repenting for some of the atrocious things that he's done at the will of the government. So that is the invitation, really, is like, no matter what your shadow is, no matter what you've done in the past, no matter what the darkness has brought out of you, and I mean darkness in terms of winter, but like we all have darkness, we all have shadow, we all have smallness, we all have places where we shrink and hide and pretend not to be who we are, or like don't say what we need or what we want. We just like, oh no, it's okay. Like I'm not worthy of that, or I don't deserve that. It's all ridiculous. Your dreams, your desires, you have them for a reason, unless that reason is like in order to achieve validation or like material success or for other people to think that you're important. Like those desires come from wounds, but the compulsion of your soul, the calling of your spirit that's like, I need to do this in this lifetime. You have that for a reason. And so the opportunity is to really look at what those dreams and desires are, what those things that you want to create are, and start taking action on them. It doesn't mean big, giant leaps like, oh my God, I have to like do this thing, right? That it's going to be so crazy and impactful and no one's ever done it. It's literally about like taking that first step. Aries just is the first step. That's the embodiment of Aries. And so what would it look like to, take that first step during this season, acknowledge the darkness, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the shadow, all of the shit that's happened over these last couple of months or since like the end of the year, since the winter season started. Of course, we've had new moons and full moons every 2 weeks, obviously, but this is a season. And when you look at those original holy days, the season is from the winter solstice. So that's December 20th, 21st. Where have you been over these last 3 months? What's been going on? What's been alive for you? And like I said, for me, it's just been way more stress than usual. And so my intention with my spring energy is to really release this stress. And I have so much going on. I'm leading 3 retreats in May. So again, all of you who are interested in joining me for retreats, I have a retreat in Ireland and another retreat in the Redwoods of Northern California where I grew up, and a private retreat in Colorado. And it's a lot, but it's the deepest, most moving, profound, valuable expression of my soul. So what can I do on the Aries new moon to set forth with taking new actions that I know are going to support me before I leave on my journeys to just mitigate stress, right? Looking at where I've been, where I want to go, where does the darkness live in between those things, right? We're in this balanced day with the fire asking us to move forward. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to take action? What does that look like? So for all of you, my deep invitation is to really do some inventory. Really check out, I posted my last video was a yin yoga class around the witch wound. It's a great, has journal prompts. It's a great practice in general, but also could be really supportive with those particular prompts for this cycle and season. You can ask them around like through the winter, you know, where have I not expressed myself this winter, etc., things like that. But really do some inventory. December 21st to March 21st, what's been alive for me? Where have my shadows shown up? What part of me is most still subservient to them? How am I still allowing those shadows to run my life or create or inform my behaviors, really, to like be driving the bus of my consciousness? And then once you have those answers, you can look at like, what is the one or two most important things for me to start engaging in, right? Like whether that's taking better care of your body, taking better care of your mind, right? It's like, oh, I want to invest in myself and do this course, or I want to come on one of Mia's retreats, or I want to engage in a ritual practice that I cultivate with myself. Like I want to make my morning routine a non-negotiable start to my day. Or like I said, exercise, more dance, adding something else new in with your children because you've been stressed and you want to be a better parent, like whatever it is, the invitation is to understand the action that is an integrated, right, which means wise, we always talk about this, is an integrated realization or invitation from what you've experienced in the darkness. So if I know, right, like me with the judgment, if I know that I have been judgmental of all these people in the gym and I'm judging their disconnection from nature, that's obviously still inside of me. So I can look at, well, yeah, I've been working so much. Like I take my 1 hour to be outside in nature, but I moved to Colorado and I've been to Rocky Mountain National Park 1 time. So maybe the most important action for me is like, I need to go. And now, of course, I'm getting this download right now as we're talking about it. As soon as we finish that ritual on Tuesday, I'm going to go to Rocky Mountain National Park and I'm going to go do another cool hike in another new place that I haven't seen yet. And I'm going to take like the day to be in nature because that is something that I need. That is something that helps me thrive, helps me shine brightly, helps me be reborn on a daily basis and really learn what more do I need, in this moment. And usually it's like nothing, because as long as I'm in nature, I don't really feel like I need anything. But what more does the world need from me, right? We just had the Virgo full moon, so that's all about service. And so that is really the deepest invitation here in all ways right now. We can't just wait for the signs that are asking us to be of service. We have to let every single sign, every archetype be a deeper invitation into how we serve. With this Aries energy, it's like, okay, am I willing to take action to be of deeper service to this planet, to my family, to my audience, to my business, whatever it is, because she is begging for us to reawaken and remember that we're reflections of her and emanations of her, and we are her children, and we are all brothers and sisters because she is our mother. And so I really, really feel like the most important thing for us all to do is just see those shadows and know that they are a hurt little child. That is the winter within us. They need our love and support. They need us to give them our attention and our presence and see what we can do, what is most impactful, what is that first step we can take in order to heal those shadows or, repair those wounds, or to truly step into a deeper alignment with who we know we are divinely designed and destined to be, in order to shine that light, be that beacon, be that magical version of ourselves that this planet is yearning for. Like, she's the most magical version of herself. She's never going to stop being that. And we have the opportunity to show her that we're capable of the same. And I say it all the time. I'm not going to stop saying it. That means stop buying plastic shit from Amazon. Support local vendors, local craftspeople, your farmers markets as much as you can. I know that things have gotten expensive. I literally today, I spent $22 on a loaf of organic gluten-free bread. And then I had a doctor's appointment at like the regenerative medicine center that like isn't covered by insurance. And it was $1,000 to like walk into this place and like get some tests done. So please know that I have compassion for the fact that life is more expensive than it has ever been, ever. I know that that is hard. And if I can share anything from like my darkness into my light, my like forward motion, taking big steps, when I have shown the universe that I do not care if it's going to be more expensive, nothing is more valuable than me, than my mental health, than my physical health, than my emotional well-being. It's okay. And when you do that, like some of you know my money miracle stories, I've had money miracles where it does not make any sense how $6,000 lasted 8 months when like my baseline bills were thousands of dollars more than that. Doesn't make any sense. But when we show the universe, this is what matters to me. I care about this. I am willing to stand for this. I am willing to invest in myself for this thing, because this is what will help take better care of me. Like me going to this, regenerative gut health guy. I'm like, I want to know what's going on. Give me the full rundown. Do all the tests. Do all the food allergy things. Like, give me the details. I have to know, because I am my own greatest treasure. I am my own most cherished possession or object. And it's the same for all of us. So just know that when you show the universe, hey, like, I want you to know I am terrified of spending this X, Y, or Z on this organic produce or on this, face wash in a glass bottle that doesn't have plastic, because I know that it's better for the environment and it's $27 instead of the $7 one that I usually get. But I am committed to caring for myself. I am committed to taking the steps that transform my life from scarcity to abundance. I promise you. You start taking steps like that, not incurring a bunch of bullshit credit card debt, right? But like letting the programs that keep us in winter, right? In that like scarcity energy, transforming those programs, what the Aries new moon is asking for us to do, acknowledging where the shadow has been, seeing what we want in the light, spring equinox vibes. I promise you, your life will change. And I've got a couple of really beautiful offerings coming out for those things. I'm making like my lowest cost offering ever, specifically around abundance, to support people with that, because I know that the world is crazy right now. It's wild. And so I just really, really invite you all to remember that it's all an illusion. Everything, even me sitting here talking to you, it's all an illusion. It is a game that we get to play. And so when you choose to like be the hero, which is also the archetype of Aries, very much that hero and the hero's journey. It's like taking that first step, right? It's the fool in the tarot, just like holding your little knapsack, about to walk off a cliff. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm fucking going for it. That is who we have to be right now. We have to just have radical faith in ourselves as expressions of the divine, because that's what will change the world. Right now, we rely too heavily on outside sources for everything, right? And when we can stop doing that, that's when that sovereignty, which we talked about that in the Virgo full moon video, but that's when our sovereignty will truly start making ripples throughout the collective consciousness and will change the world. And I want to live in a different world than the one we live in now. So thank you all so much for being here. Again, if you would like to join me for Spring Equinox Aries New Moon Ritual on Tuesday, March 21st at 9 a.m. PST, would love to have you. It's going to be super juicy. I love leading those rituals in community. You had so many amazing people last time. And all of my offerings, if you want to dive deeper with me, are on miamagik.com. I've got some cool free meditations and things like that there. Again, my retreats are coming up in May. And as always, I am so grateful for you all. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am Mia Magik, and it is my greatest honor and pleasure to welcome you to your most magical life.